Okay, so tonight I'm going to break down how I run my potential calls. I feel like they, at this point, they've been pretty successful. I want you guys to know there's not like one way of doing things, of course, like everything in this business. You can put your own flair on things, but this is just kind of like what I follow. So let me just mute Gia really quick. Okay. So, first of all, just be you, be confident, and be prepared. So, if you don't, have necessarily the confidence or the product knowledge or anything like that, like you have to have an upline on a call with you or like somebody who's been in the business for a while. They need to be kind of experienced because then like my biggest thing is I just really try and have it be conversational. I hate feeling like I'm giving a presentation to the potential and like boring them. I like it to be really interactive and engaging. So definitely make sure you have someone on there, and always keep it about them. So it's not really like our chance to tell our story. It's more about what them and gathering evidence on how this will benefit them, which at this point in the call, like if you've already done a call, you've probably gathered, that evidence while you're talking to them. And so you want to have that prepared. But really just keep that in mind and make it all about them and try and stop and like ask questions when you can. Just anything to really keep them engaged and not feel like you're just like blah 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 blah, like throwing out all this information. And then what else? Be relatable, just like how we preach all the time. So genuine, relatable. Keep things simple, attractive, and like achievable. So if we're talking about right off the bat these free cards and girls making 30K a month, like all these things, like people don't feel like they can do that. So you have to like really simplify it. And I'm going to kind of go over step by step like what I do and how I kind of word these things. But really, really biggest advice, just keep it simple and make it sound like as achievable as possible, right? Because everyone can do this and be successful. But the confidence of somebody new coming in, they're going to be like, I don't know, I'm nervous, I'm scared. They're going to have all these hesitations. So relating to that, like if they say, oh, I don't know, just relate to them the best you can. So I'm going to kind of go over the sequence that I follow. If you guys have any questions along the way, you can throw them in the chat or like whatever you guys do if you do something a little bit differently. So one thing I will say, I was going to maybe share my screen with you, but I don't think I will. Rochelle, shout out to Rochelle. She made like a document that kind of has all of this like written out. There's a couple of things that I don't mention or that I kind of tweak, but you guys can use that as like a really great guideline. It's a good cheat sheet. So the first thing I do is I always get them talking about themselves. So I will just, let's say we hop on the call. I'm like, hey, I'm Ashley. Like, and at this point, I will know their name. I'll call them by their name. And then, sorry, people are coming on. Let me just mute all and then, okay, there we go. So I'll just be like, let's say it's Gia or something. Hey, Gia, I'm Ashley. So excited to tell you about this opportunity. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what are you doing for work right now? And you don't have to answer, Gia. I'm just using it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So then, she'll be like, oh, I'm, doing, let's say she works at Chipotle or whatever, does anything. So really like pay attention and listen to what they're saying, because this is how you're going to pitch them. This is how it's going to fit in. Then you're going to talk about how it's a flexible schedule, right? How it fits into any schedule. So let's say they're a stay-at-home mom. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. You can do this like while you're at home with your kids, or you know, okay, you're a busy student and you work part-time, that's awesome. You can work this in your, you know, hour or two of free time, which you probably already spend on social media anyways, and let's get you making money. You know, this could potentially supplement that part-time job income and kind of slide that in there. So really just make it like the first part conversational, get them feeling comfortable, get to know them. Sometimes I'll ask like their age, or if, you know, if I have something to relate to with them while they're talking, I'll be like, oh my gosh, me too. Or I don't know, like Jordan and I went to high school together. So we kind of reminisced about high school for a little bit, you know, like just
It sucks.
yes, just like be human, you know? And then the next thing I will do is, and when you ask them about themselves, chances are they might kind of talk about like how they know the MP that got them on the call. So sometimes I'll be like, oh, like how do you know if it's Julianne or something? I'll be like, oh, how do you know Julianne? And get to understand their relationship or whatever. And then I will ask them like kind of what captured their attention about the opportunity. So I'll usually be like, oh, so like, you know, what made you interested in this opportunity? And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I really want better hair, or whatever the case may be. And then you can kind of go from there, relate to them on that. And then the next thing that I do is before I go into anything about the products of the business, I always ask them, I say, have you ever heard of Monat before? Or have you ever tried the products? Because obviously you don't want to go blabbing on if somebody's already, you know, established somewhat, like maybe they've talked to somebody before, maybe they've tried the products. So kind of establish that first and then go from there. So let's say they're like, no, I've never heard of it. I'm really excited to learn more about it. So I will go over the company. So I will talk about, I'll be like, okay, awesome. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the company and then the products and what really sets us apart. So I will say, usually I'll mention that Monat is only 5 years old. We're going into our 6th year and we've already hit over $1 billion. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, wow. And I'll be like, yeah, to put that in perspective, like, Julianne, I think it was Google, right? That is the only other one that's done that in 5 years.
What?
To
Google?
hit $1 billion in 5 years.
Google, you said?
Google, right?
Yeah, Google.
Yeah. So like that blows people's minds, and it gives you kind of credibility and the company credibility. So yeah, I'll usually say that, and then I'll just be like, yeah, so you know, we're actually the #1 premium hair care brand in the United States, and we're #3 in the entire world, up with Pantene and Paul Mitchell. Okay, that like is huge. Yeah, as far as like sales and stuff goes, right? Like that's a really big deal. And then I'll say, you know, we specialize, our thing is hair care and skincare. And I will tell them like, okay, I'm going to go over you know, what makes the hair care special and the skincare. And so I usually just say like, I love the fact that like our products cater to all different hair types and skin types. We have such a wide range of shampoos and conditioners. So pretty much everyone we know washes their hair and skin. So we can really help them. And I always point out the fact that this is a consumable and necessary product. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to share my screen and I'm going to show you this thing that Rochelle made, because I think it'll give you guys like a visual. Hold on. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay, so yeah, about them. Okay, so then if you guys ever want to use this, you can kind of see, I always talk about the fact that we're naturally based, we're vegan, cruelty-free, and our market is literally everyone. And I'm like, girl, you know people that wash their hair and their skin, they need this. Everyone deserves better hair and skin. And they're like, oh yeah, duh. And then, yeah, so for the hair care, I always talk about the oil. So I say, you know, what really sets our hair care apart is this patented oil. So it's our Rejuvenique oil, and it's highly compatible with the hair and the skin. And it's the only oil that can actually penetrate all 3 layers of the hair. And so that like usually is like a huge one for people. And then I will talk about the ingredient Capixyl, which is our natural growth ingredient. So boom, right there. They know that we promote growth and healthy hair and through the oil and the Capixyl, and that's really what sets us apart. And then I talk about for skincare, I'm like, you know, this is also skin specific and it's naturally based and it's anti-aging. So our whole movement and our whole brand is based around being anti-aging. We are like the anti-aging revolution. We are the movement. And I don't really go into like details about the skincare ingredients. I really just touch on the fact that it's anti-aging and also naturally based and skin specific. And then yeah, so really just telling them how we're different and what we have to offer. Hair care, skincare, how we're different, and that we cater to all hair types. You can even throw in that we have a pet shampoo and deodorizing spray. I know Allie loves to talk about the pet one. Okay, and then this part is like super, super important. This next part, when we talk about what we do and how we market. This is where it can get really like complicated and confusing for people. And this is where it could potentially like turn them off or make them interested. So we have to keep it simple, attractive, and achievable. Okay, so the biggest thing is, hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. There we go. Okay, so the biggest thing is that I basically just say like, I'll ask them like, okay, so you use social media, right? Or do you use like Facebook or Instagram? And they're like, yeah, I use both, or maybe they're more on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So pretty much all we're doing here is we're using the products, we're sharing our experience and our testimony, and we're spreading the word about them, and we have an opportunity to grow a team. So that's literally like how I lay it out for them, and then I kind of elaborate. So I'm like, girl, your personal testimony is everything. You might as well be using a product that's going to make you money and that you can help people with. So you're just going to use them, post about them, tell your friends and family, and potentially grow a team. So then that's really what I say. And then sometimes they engage, they might have questions, but then really that's like, I keep it super simple. And then I go into, that kind of leads me into like commission and how we make money. So the biggest thing that I have found that is successful is taking them through like a scenario. So I'm like, okay, so let's say, you know, you are posting and people are curious about it. They're like, girl, what are you using? I tell her, okay, you're going to set them up. You're going to be like their beauty consultant. Thank you. I cannot find the freaking word. You're going to be their beauty consultant. So you're going to set people up with products based on their hair type, skin type, and goals. And we're going to help you with that. Let's say that they want to order through you. You're going to have your own website where you run your business, and you can put in orders for people, or they can go in and order it for themselves. So let's say they do that. You're going to make 15% commission on that. So I found that when I explain like the process and how we make money together, it like makes more sense and works really well. So I'm like, yeah, let's say, you know, your mom orders products from you today. She's going to order them through your link. You're going to hook her up, and then they'll be delivered right to her doorstep, and you'll make 15% commission. And then I also point out that we don't hold inventory. So at that time, I'm like, yeah, so it's shipped to them. You never have to hold inventory. You're literally just going to have products for your personal use. And then one thing that I do, I'm going to see if I think there's a question. How do you hype them up when you don't know how they're feeling towards the opportunity? So I've had so many calls like that. Jules, you want to say something?
No, like, what if they just don't talk? Like,
I've
they're
had
not,
so many calls like that.
it's
Literally.
awkward.
That's happened to
Oh,
me yesterday. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll ask them about their life, and they're like, oh, I'm doing this and that, and then you'll try to, like, get them going, but it's hella dry, right? And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, so the way we market, like,
Yeah. I would say like, not as much now, but like it used to be like 60% of my calls were like that. And I'm like, I literally could not read them. I couldn't tell if they were interested. And you have to understand that like some people are going to be really nervous about this call. They're going to feel like they're going into like an interview or something. So you have to make it seem super casual. If they're not giving you much, still keep your personality, keep your hype, and explain everything the same way you would to somebody who's engaging with you. They're just not going to have questions, so the call is going to go a lot faster. But I still deliver all the same info. And then, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Any other questions on that? Okay. So yeah, when I talk about commission, I don't say like, I don't really talk about Smart Start, you guys, because like they're already like getting a lot of information and they're gonna get trained on that. So you can mention that like in their first 3 months their bonuses are doubled, but I don't tell them what a block is. I don't tell them about Mo Neighborhood. Like they're gonna be like, I have no idea what the heck you're talking about. So you can hype it up, and I always tell people like, I tell them there's two components to the business. There's getting clients and there's growing a team. And when you do both, you're going to find a lot of success, and you're going to go, you're going to get higher in the promotions, and there's bonuses associated with that. And I tell them in their first 3 months, their bonuses are essentially doubled. But sometimes I don't even mention that, depending on how the flow of the conversation is going. Yeah, because I know like my call with Jordy, like she was pretty much already had her mind made up that she like wanted to do it. So you just kind of gauge the call. Okay, and then you can talk about the incentive trips. I will usually stop after I talk about commission, and I say like, okay, so do you like to travel? Is that something that you're interested in? And if they say like, yes, oh my gosh, I love to travel, I will then hype up the incentive trips. So I will tell them, oh my gosh, girl, well, you are with the right company because they take us on 4 trips a year, and you can 100% qualify for these. I'll teach you how to do everything. And maybe the conversation will go back and forth from there. And then after that, before I talk about product packs, I always stop and ask them how they're feeling, if they're interested, if they see themselves doing this, because I'm not going to like talk about money and the investment if they're not really vibing, like you're going to kind of feel that. So I usually will just be like, so how do you feel about this? Like, can you see yourself doing it? And they're like, sometimes they're going to be like, oh, I don't know. And then at that time, you need to work through their objections. You need to do that on the call, like 100%. So if they're like, I don't know, you can't be scared to be like, girl, what's holding you back? Like, what's your hesitations? What are you scared of? Like, let me talk you through it, because I know I was really nervous to start something new too. And you have to just be real with them and get over those objections. If they don't and they're like, yes, I'm so excited, what do I need to do to start? You're going to be like, okay, awesome. So you're going to buy what's called a product pack. And the way that I explain a product pack is I just tell people, you're going to buy products for yourself, for you to personally use, because like I said, your personal testimony to the products are what sells. That's 100% how you're going to run your business, is you using the products and telling people and sharing your experience. So you're going to buy those products, you're going to get the website that I talked about, and you're going to get access to all of my team's training. And then they're like, okay, cool, sounds good. And then I tell them that the product packs will range from $199 to $799. I don't talk about each pack, what comes in it. I just say it ranges from $199 to $799. depending on your budget, you can totally pick whichever one you want. If you do select the $199, you're probably going to want to add a shampoo and conditioner onto it. And then if they tell me like, oh, I might be interested in the $199, my budget's kind of tight right now, then I, at that time, will talk to them about their hair type, and I will solidify a shampoo and conditioner that they're going to add on to the pack at that time. Like, I don't wait until after the call. Obviously, if they haven't told you what pack they want yet, then you can do that later. But that's been working well for me, is figuring that out on the call, because not everyone is going to love the volume shampoo and conditioner that comes in the $199 pack. So you want them to have a good experience off the bat. And if that means adding a shampoo and conditioner, then you've got to really like get them on that. Obviously, because if they get it and they don't like it, they're not going to want to sell it. And then what else am I missing? I think that's pretty much it about packs. So then one thing that you can do is, so then, yeah, and then I'll just be like, okay, I'm so excited for you. I'm going to send you my link and give you instructions on how you can look at the product packs. Sometimes I will even, if I'm really vibing with the person and they seem like ready to rock and roll, I will be like, okay, so is it in your budget to start today? I like 9 times out of 10, I'll try and ask that. Like, if they're saying they want to do it, I will be like, is it in your budget today? And if they're like, I don't know, then, you know, just let it go. But if they are, I'm going to be like, okay, awesome. I have time to sign you up right now. And you can do it on the call with them and walk them through it. If not, you can get off, send them your link with instructions on how to look at the product packs. One thing I also want to know about the product packs is, oh my gosh, Lilo looks so cute. I'm getting distracted. So the $99 pack, there's been a lot of questions about this. So it's not considered a product pack. It's just a starter kit, and it only comes with samples. So this is really not beneficial to anybody, because they're going to spend $100 on samples. Like, that's just silly. Like, they can just get the $199 and get our $100 oil and the split end. They get so much more for even just the $199 pack. And I want you guys to know that the $99 pack does not count for your Smart Start. Okay, so it counts for like the person that's enrolling with a $99 starter kit. They still get Smart Start. They still have the opportunity to get their Smart Start bonuses, but they do not count as an MP for your blocks. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So then also the $99 kit does not count towards Dominican Republic either. So, and it's honestly just not a win-win. Like, it's not good for the client, like, or I mean the market partner. Like, it's not setting them up at all. Go ahead, Jules.
So the thing is, I tell them to, like, if they're like, okay, you know, I'll send them my link and I'll let them know, like, hey, you're gonna see the 99 starter pack on there, but that doesn't get you anything. It gets you samples for $100. If you can add $100 more with and get actual products on it, and it doesn't count as far as like being active, and like, so I'll go into it and let them know, not even.
Yeah. And I know Katrina had some run-ins with people getting the $99 starter kit. $99 starter kit, they have 30 days to purchase an actual product pack. Yes, but then they're wasting.
It's so confusing. Like,
but then they're wasting $99 and then spending a whole extra $199. Yeah. Or Journey, are you saying that then they take $99 off of their next pack? Is that the case? Because then I feel like it's just a waste of money. Like, why even get the $99 starter kit and then spend the $199 that you should have just initially spent, you know? But I'll have to look into that, because I don't think that it deducts from when they buy a pack. But yeah. Okay, what else was I going to say? Oh, okay. A lot of people had questions if the $99 starter kit counts as like an active line for you or not. if somebody, let's say they do end up getting the $99 starter kit, the reason they don't pop up as active is because their PV is not going to be 200 or more. So if they add on to the $99 starter kit and their PV is higher than 200, then they will count as active for you. But literally just never sell the $99 starter kit. It's not a win-win. You don't make commission off of it, and the person is not being set up for success whatsoever. So that is really all I have for you guys. On your potential calls, just have fun with it. Don't like give a presentation, really just be like conversational. Get them talking about themselves, go over the business and the products, what sets us apart. Keep it simple when you talk about what we do and how we market. So we use our social media, we use word of mouth, we use the products, we share our testimony, boom. Like that's like, it doesn't have to be complicated. Talk about commission, run them through a scenario like, hey, your friend's gonna order from you, you make 15% commission, we get paid 5 times a month. And I do sometimes mention that if, you know, I'm like, it is commission based. So some people will be like, oh, what happens if I don't make any sales? That's fine, there's no penalty, but you just won't make money. So, and then I think, yeah, and then ask them if they're interested, and then you can go over the product packs. So I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions or anything like that? I hope this was really helpful. I know that potential calls can be really scary, but I want to really empower you guys to like start doing your own and just like getting comfortable with them. So yes. Okay. Well, that's
Thanks,
it.
Ash.
Gabby's what?
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Because I've had back-to-back potential calls with Katrina, and like it's awesome, but at the same time, like the fact that she's like guiding me and like learning how to still communicate while not being like role playing kind of, this helped a lot.
Yeah,
Appreciate
and I
it.
want you guys to have like a system that you like can follow so that you can start taking them yourself sooner.
Yes.
So that like 3 months into the business, you're not having to ask for like your upline
Who's
to take calls
available.
with you know?
Yeah.
And like I know the way that I learned to take potential calls was just learning from Gabby running them. But like I really just wanted to have you guys like have a system so you can really just empower yourselves to do them. But yeah, okay guys, Gabby's call is on in 1 minute. She's gonna do a Grand Cayman recap. I know that there's been like 3 of them, but let's hop on, support her, and listen to what she has to say about the Cayman Islands. Okay? All right, bye.